Hey everyone, it's Mr. Iden, and welcome back to SGT Discovery Kids, where we discover what God is teaching us through His Word. Now you may be thinking, where's Pastor Michael? Well, actually, Pastor Michael and his wife Cezanne just had a baby, so he's going to be out for a little bit. But while he's out, I get to teach you guys. So I guess you could say it's a win-win situation. But anyway, let's get to the story. This week, we're learning about the prophet Obadiah. Now, you may not have heard of the prophet Obadiah before, and maybe that's because his book in the Bible is so short. It's only a page long, but his story is so big. Now, you may remember what a prophet is, but if you don't, I'll remind you. A prophet was a messenger of God. So if God ever had anything on his heart or on his mind, or even if he wanted to tell people about what was going to happen in the future, he would tell the prophet, and the prophet would deliver the message. Now Obadiah was a prophet to the people of Israel while they were captive by Babylon. So God's message to Obadiah was for the people of Edom. Now Edom was a nation that knew the Israelites very well. And that's because they were actually family. You guys remember the story of Jacob and Esau, right? Well, the descendants of Jacob became the nation of Israel, and the descendants of Esau became the nation of Edom. And while they were brothers, their descendants were enemies. So now we fast forward hundreds of years into the future. And so God's message to the Edomites was this. God said, "You will be punished. Your land will be taken away from you, and even your friends and your allies will turn against you." Now you may be thinking, why? Why were the Edomites getting punished? Well, God said this, because you were evil to the Israelites while they were getting attacked by Babylon, evil will be done to you. You see, while the Israelites were getting attacked and captured by the Babylonians, the Edomites just laughed and they rejoiced and they sat back and they watched. And think about it. They were family. Out of all people in the world, they should have been the ones to help. But they didn't. And even when the Israelites went to the land of Babylon, the Edomites went down to Jerusalem, the holy city of Israel, and stole all their stuff. So God said, "I will destroy you because of what you have done to Israel." But there was also good news for the Israelites. God said, "You have been away from your home for long enough. You are soon going to return back to your home in Israel, and you won't be in Babylon any longer." And the Israelites were so happy, and they thanked God, and they could not wait for that to happen. Now I want us to picture ourselves in that situation. Imagine something bad was happening to you, and you were getting punished, and you were upset, and you needed someone to help you. But you saw your brother, or your sister, or a family member, or even a close friend looking at you, and you thought, surely they're going to help. But they didn't, and they just laughed, and they were happy. That's how the Israelites felt. But have we ever been on the other side? Have we ever been the Edomites? Has there ever been a situation where we saw our brother or our sister, a close friend or a family member getting in trouble, and we were actually happy about it? Maybe it was because we were jealous about something, or maybe we were angry at them. But it doesn't matter, because that's not how God wants us to act. He doesn't want us to act like that towards our family members, towards our friends, towards our classmates, or towards strangers. And we learn about this more in Matthew chapter 7. But that's not for me. That's for Mr. Iden. So Mr. Iden, let's go to you. Hey everyone, it's Mr. Iden, and welcome back to the verse of the week. We just learned about, from Mr. Iden, how God really cares about how we treat those around us, those in our family, those that we're friends with, or even just strangers. And Jesus tells us more about this in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. Here's what it says. "So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets." Great. Now say it with me. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. for this sums up the law and the prophets. Great job. Now you may be wondering, what does Jesus mean by the law and the prophets? Well, back in Jesus' day, that was a common way to refer to the scriptures. Now, what Jesus wants us to know is that if we don't like when people are mean to us, then we shouldn't be mean to others. And if we don't like when people lie to us, then we shouldn't lie to others. This is such a great message by Jesus that it even has a nickname. It's called the Golden Rule. So I want you guys to take some time this week memorizing the verse because it's a pretty short one, but also thinking about what are some things that we may do to others that we don't want them doing to us. I love you guys so much. Thanks for joining me for another verse of the week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, Mr. Iden. We always love learning about the verse of the week. Honestly, I wouldn't know half of that stuff if it wasn't for you teaching me. Now, let's go to Miss Laurel to learn more about the animal of the week. Miss Laurel, take it away.
Hey everyone, Miss Laurel here, and welcome back to another Animal of the Week. This week's animal lives in the mountains and has long, curved horns. Do you know what it is? That's right, it's the Nubian ibex. The Nubian ibex is a type of mountain goat that can survive hot climates and lives in the mountains of northern Africa and the Middle East, in places like Israel. They have strong legs and sharp edges on their hooves to prevent them from falling off the sides of mountains. They can also jump up to 6 feet in height to help them climb the rocky terrain. The Nubian ibex have shiny coats to reflect the sunlight, keeping them cool in the heat of the day, and it can also prevent rain from making their coat wet. This week, we learned about how the Edomites did not help the Israelites while they were being attacked by the Babylonians. The Edomites were prideful because they lived high in the mountains where they felt safe and powerful. Similar to the Edomites, the Nubian ibex are unique animals that also live in the mountains. Thanks for joining me for another Animal of the Week. See you next time.
Wow, the Nubian ibex sounds like a crazy cool animal. Thanks, Miss Laura, for teaching us all about that. Now, you may be thinking, or maybe I was thinking when I read this message, so is it okay to pray for people to get punished by God if they do something mean to us? I mean, that is what happened in the story, right? But no, that's not okay, because we learn from Jesus that we should pray for our enemies, and that Jesus really cares about how we treat each other. He doesn't want us to do bad things to each other or to wish bad things upon each other. He wants us to treat everyone how we would want to be treated. And remember, we all have sinned and deserve to be punished, but Jesus came all the way from heaven onto earth to die on a cross so that we wouldn't have to be punished. He took our punishment upon himself. How amazing is that? That's how much he loves me, and that's how much he loves you. All right, guys, thanks for joining me for this week's lesson. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Be blessed and be a blessing.